So, as, as we are talking about this, the rebellion continues and stuff, and this kind of leads the Korean Navy to get destroyed by China, and it's not going well. This is kind of bringing to the downfall of Koreans, which now have to retreat from a lot of. They will still hold out over here in Siberia, which is the last hope. So they're going down, but they're not going down without a fight. Let's go back over here where the gold Ethiopians are going on the rampage. As we see them going through this country, and they're not doing nice things. I think you guys already know, but this leads to even more countries joining in. As we see Yucatan, all of NATO joins. We see the South Indian countries, and now we also see Great Papua condemning the genocide. We also see Blue Australia joining, and also Yellow Australia, and also the Democratic Red Australian government joins this. This is a global emergency, and now the North Africans have a lot of work to do. Let's just say that Morocco is focusing on this landing. The Roman landing is repelled, and it looks like they're winning, but then something happens. As we see a Roman landing over here, and and this landing is pretty powerful. The Moroccans though keep going. Looks powerful, but it's probably going to fall. The Romans don't have this, but they're still good distraction. As we say, Libya failing to push back the old empire, which completely takes over the Suez, and this is a huge blow. And the war is kind of wrapping up. Could could be a huge fascist victory scenario, but it looks like the countries are waking up because of the Dutch. Caspia, meanwhile, is also doing bad things to the pink team, which makes other countries angry, like Indonesians now join, Colombia joins in the Caribbean. Basically, everybody are joining the squares, which at this point is just the OS. The OS is basically the squares now currently. And the entire organization is getting involved. And we see Orange Guinea leave the war. We see the line, some countries leaving. We see this Nigerian one leaving also. Some countries do leave. But what happens is that India is finally weakening. We see that Caspia is now facing a huge front, and they are kind of falling off. And also with the other countries help, with Siberia helping, it's kind of the end for Caspia, which is now getting pushed back. The front against the old empire, though, things are getting stalemated. Somehow they're holding on, even though it's a pretty hard front. We also see the old empire pushing back the Ethiopians, which at this point they're just evacuating from Yemen, and another thing has been defeated. But now India is in a good position. They can do it. They're about to do it. Uh-oh, they're launching the operation. The Indian Navy successfully captures Socotra, and this is kind of a blow. Now India could make a landing in Gold, and this makes the African front kind of go. We see Gold Ethiopia trying to speedrun Tanzania, and they're kind of are. But with all the amount of troops coming, it won't be that good. Gold Ethiopia is kind of cooked. Tanzania is finally pushing back. Basically, the US is looking in to defeat Gold Ethiopia. At this point, the purple team, fascist purple team, is starting to see that it won't go very well for their fellow friends. So they just decide to leave the war, which kind of helps Rome. And Rome is going against Libya because Libya is weaker, and going against Morocco pretty much sparks defeat, even though you could have some success now. So we see Morocco still doing pretty good. And sieging Carthage once again, we don't know if they will be able to though, because they're just getting a lot of aid. And also Greece might make a landing in Libya if they're lucky enough. So with all of this aid, it's the end. Pretty much the end for the African bloc. As we see the olden parents coming close. Not only that, we also see that China is locking in. They're getting ready for the final battle. Siphon Siberia successfully kicks Korea out of this. But now the Koreans are doing like Japan in World War II. They're launching themselves. Yeah, I know. Basically, we see that Japan is now tired of this regime. See that the Chinese Navy successfully defeated Korean, and now their objective is just to go straight to the capital, find the leader, kill him, do finally have the death penalty, and that's it. Siphon Siberia is still cooking because no one cares about them. So we see that Korea is kind of dying, but they ain't surrendering. They're still fighting. But now, since the South American front is not over yet, we see that Patagonia is helping, and somehow they're doing okay. It's, he still doesn't take, because we see this wonderful country pushing back kind of against Brazil. Brazil is now fighting against Colombia too. They're they didn't manage to leave the war yet. Brazils are stronger than Colombia, but the amount of aid they have to fight kind of prevents them from fully taking them over. Not going that well for the fascists. So we see that Caspia is now dead. In this front, there's no point in fighting anymore, as the amount of troops that is arriving is too much. And Caspia is trying to do those bad things, but probably not enough. Not enough. We see the old Empyreans also going on. And then officially weakens Persinia, which dies to the old empire. With that, the Lycium rebellion has been wiped out. We see this happening. We see the world slowly destroying. It's not going that well for Greece. And now it's kind of forward, but now Gold Ethiopia is using their last resort. Biochemical weapons. Yeah, and they're efficient. And they are typewriting thing. And at this point, they're tired. They're just tired of Gold Ethiopia. We see the old Imperial Navy successfully landing in Eritrea and just completely closing in on the front. We now actually see Morocco. Finally, Morocco is finally retreating from Carthage. Rome is finally done it. Not only that, we also see them fully keep on invading Libya, and Libya is destroyed. They stand no chance. And at this point, the Libyan leader is basically dead. Basically, before the capture of the capital, Libyan leader is having an heart attack, and that's when Libya surrenders. One of the three big fascist African countries has been defeated, and this is a good thing. Now the Romans need to fight on the desert, which will be we'll see Morocco retreating in more positions, and march through the desert is pretty much impossible. But now we will see that thing happen. Well, first we'll see India officially invading and making a landing, which kind of screws Gold Ethiopia up, but they're still doing horrible things to try and save themselves. But won't go that way. Eventually, there is a fit of rage as the old empire kind of sticks through the coast and gets closer to. They see a bunch of purple things rendered. They see a bunch of nuclear silos over here, and they're kind of scared. But before Ethiopia can use them, we see Morocco nuking gold Ethiopia. The Moroccan leader has been they regret everything. The only reason they are still in the war is to defeat Rome. Is to not fight Rome because they can't have a rivalry with Rome to control the Mediterranean. So we see them still fighting. But with this, it's not going to well. Let's go over to Korea. Korea is dead. There's nothing to say. We see most of the Japanese island just revolting. The north is still kind of trying to resist. We see Siphon Siberia looking in. We see China officially making another invasion, and it's kind of close, starting to closing for the Korean fascist empire, I guess. And the Korean Peninsula now, as things couldn't get worse, the Korean Peninsula is split, and with that we see it, most of the regime is dying down. At this point, we see a revolution. The leader just gets assassinated or something. We see Korea losing control over the Japanese island. And then the war becomes unitarian. Nah, just kidding. We're not into that yet. No, it probably won't happen in this series. That's the reason I told you. I won't spoil you guys the ending of the series. So it's not unitarian Japan. This is just normal Japan. And after this, Korea surrenders, kind of. And now it's not in a Caspia. Caspia, it's your turn, kind of. We see Orange Afghanistan still invading, and the pink team is final lock in. They have locked in. They are tired of Caspia just bullying them, and now they're going to make them pay a lot. Oh yeah, if I said that Pink Kazakhstan was on the fascist side, yeah, they switched sides at the end because of a coup. I don't know, you guys make it up. So we see that the pink team is marching in. At this point, there's also rebellions, and the puppet state just surrenders over to the old empire because the puppet government had some autonomy placed. So see Orange Afghanistan finally doing another push and keeping destroying Caspia. It's the end. Eventually, see this happening, and the country still doesn't surrender because of the insane nationalist behavior. Meanwhile, thanks to Morocco help, Ethiopia is just gone. But there's still going to be the Chinese nukes because of the horrible. I think China is doing the final blow, and after that, Ethiopia is just going to stop fighting. So we see this happening, and Tanzania will try to do a final push in the end. They will. They will just absolutely. The end. Ethiopia doesn't exist anymore. Even if you see them on the map, they're basically gone. So we can just go over to Morocco, which after a while they're going to say, okay, we're out of this. And after Morocco is out, there's Brazil. Brazil is not stupid. After Colombia manages to kind of push back, and after this dark red country is marching straight, after this, they're just going to peace out. Because if they don't peace out, it's kind of over for them. So the South American fascist bloc survives, kind of. Even though the brown Uruguay capital gets, no, it's Buenos Aires. The fascist Buenos Aires capital gets taken and they're dead, basically. So with that, the the War of the Absolute is kind of over. Only Caspia remains. And Caspia is going to die pretty soon. See the old Imperial landing over here and changed the pink team occupation forces color, so we say it happens. Finally happens. Caspia surrenders. Well, no, it just gets just get fully taken. And now let's take a look at the peace treaty of the War of the Absolutes. So I think I got everything. Let's start from South America. So in the peace treaty, we see that Brazil fully annexes Peru because they do. Venezuela, Colombia, all that's called. Um, so the brown Argentinian country is gone. The government is dead. As simple as that. They got just wiped out completely. And North Chile annexed what's left of them, and also Patagonia unified with the democratic part. We see that South Chile gained some land. This dark red country gained some. At this point, this is a completely new South America, and this is kind of nice. So let's go over here in Asia, and China was really harsh to Korea. We see that sea from Siberia became big. We see that Japan is united, but now under democratic government. We see that these new two countries, we see Vladivostok and Manchuria being created. We see that Korea still does exist under democratic government, and also China took some land because China is China. Then we see that India kind of annexed some Bangladeshi land. And also, yeah, Persian is gone. Orange Afghanistan has become big once again. The MVP of Weeks of World War Three is the MVP of Weeks of World War Four too. We see this brown country coming back. We see this new country being created. This other new country being created. The pink Kazakhstan has access to the Caspian Sea. They got a bunch of land from Russia. Now they're big. We see Caucasian getting some land from Russia. We see gold Ukraine annexing the Dolite Ukrainian country is gone now. Formera gained two provinces. We see Poland is expanded and they are pretty big. Orange St. Petersburg is back and now under a communist government. Russia is democratic government. They lost some land to Big Finland. The Dutch gained some money. They didn't really get that much interested to gain that much land. Rome gained some land out of the coast of North Africa. We see Andalusia and Galicia splitting the Moroccan land. Morocco still does exist, and they're still fascist, kinda, even though the leader resigns. They don't have Gibraltar though. Carthage comes back. Libya is. Oh, yeah, this area will take a. We see that Tanzania annexed some land. But now you guys might notice something. Oh, yeah, the terrorist state got weakened. But you guys might notice something. The old empire still has their occupation forces. That area didn't get settled yet. And the reason is there was a huge argument in the peace treaty room. Some people laughed, and now there's the conference of Hawaii, where the nation of Carolina, Mexico, China, India, Tibet, South Africa, Rome, the Dutch, and Greece, all of them they discuss the big victors of World War Four, kinda, because their ground of discussion is the old empire, and they both all of basically and they make and they decide that old empire must be destroyed. The only one that wanted kind of to keep the old empire around was Rome, but then they realized that the squares were powerful even without them, even though Greece and most countries left after the war. But the squares were still a pretty powerful European bloc. So we see them deciding to do it. Also, sorry, Morocco here. So they decide that the old empire must be destroyed. And this is the beginning of the coalition of the willing. We will talk about it on episode 6 though. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed these two parts I did about World War IV. And See ya. I say waiting and see ya to my next video.